Okay, good morning everyone. Shalom Aleichem, Baruch Haba. We're continuing Mishna Berura, Daf Hashavua. We're learning Siman Nun Beis. We're in Sif Aleph, Mishna Berura, Sif Katan, Tes. That if the Tzibur already started Yoitzer, and there's no time to say Psukei de Zimra, the opinion of the Mechaber at least, is to skip Psukei de Zimra. Like we pointed out, the Mishna Berura brings the Mishkan Yaakov that argues, and so you say Shema and the brachas with the tzibur, you daven with them, and then at the end of when you finish davening, you say the whole Psukei de Zimra without the bracha before and after. The Rama says Mikamakam Yoimar Kol HaBrachas Shemechuyev Levarach B'Bakar. After davening, you say all the brachas Hashachar. Says Mishna Berura Mikamakam Yoimar Reitzel Loimar Shemechuyev LaAmram Achar Tefila Imlai Amram Kadem Tefila. You're obligated to say them after davening if you didn't say them before. Now, the Dirsha brings a fascinating machlokes. What if you only have time for Baruch Shamar Ashrei Yishtabach? If you say the Birchas Hashachar. If you don't say the Birchas Hashachar, you have time for the rest of Psukei de Zimra. In other words, what's more important? Saying the whole Psukei de Zimra before davening, or saying the Birchas Hashachar before davening? Rav Shlomo Zalman says Birchas Hashachar before davening is more important than the rest of Psukei de Zimra. Reb Chaim Kanievsky, he holds you say Birchas Hashachar after davening. Okay, all of this, it just emphasizes the importance of coming early. In other words, listen, it could happen that a person comes late, but everybody has to do a serious cheshbon hanefesh and ask themselves, do I have time in my regular schedule? Am I leaving enough time to say everything before? If not, then starting tomorrow you will. But in other words, a person really has to make sure that their regular Seder Hayom allows them to say the whole Psukei de Zimra and the Birchas Hashachar before. Fine. The Mishna Berura continues. V'ayin le'el b'sun mem zayin tzivches l'inyan Birchas HaTorah. Uve Mishna Berura sham. So in other words, earlier we had that really you should say Birchas HaTorah before you say Psukei de Zimra, because you shouldn't even say Psukim derech Tachanunim. Now what's he quoting from the Eliyah Rabbah here? He says the Mechaber there had a suffix. If Kriya Shema is considered learning enough, in other words, the question is, maybe I don't have to say Birchas HaTorah, I'll rely on Ava Rabbah, and Kriya Shema is a suffix. Why? Why would Kriya Shema be a suffix? Because Kriya Shema is only like Divrei Tefillah, because you're not saying it for Limud. The Gra holds it's not Limud, and the Eliyah Rabbah holds it's not Limud. In other words, you should really say Birchas HaTorah before. That after you already said Shemona Esrei, you should not say Elokai Neshama. Why? Shekvar Yatsa Birchas Mechai HaMesim. Va'ayin b'Pri Megadim shekasav d'midivrei harama loy mashmakein. The Pri Megadim says the Rama doesn't say that. The Rama seems to imply Yomer Kol HaBracha Shemechuyev Levarach B'Boker. He doesn't say except for Elokai Neshama. V'chein b'Sefer Maimer Mordechai Choylek Olav. V'chein b'Shari Tshuva Siman Vav Kasav d'Mistaber d'Lo Yatsa. V'chein Mashaber Agrab Siman Zeh. V'ayin b'Bir Halacha. So you got a problem. You said you got a problem. If you're going to leave the Birchas Hashachar till after davening, you're going to have a suffix whether after Mechaye HaMesim you're allowed to say the bracha of Elokai Neshama. So what's the best aid? So Mikamakam Yotzei Tov L'Chachila Lo Tzisa Aliba D'Kol Yama Dahainu She'im Hischil Kfar L'Hispal. If you already started to daven, V'Shachach Mikaydem Birchas Elokai Neshama Yechavin B'Firish Birchas V'Neman Ata She'inoi Roitzel Lifter B'Zer Birchas Elokai Neshama. You should have negative kavana. You should have in mind that you don't want to be Yotzei Elokai Neshama V'Azlu Kol Yama Yivarchen Achar Tefillah. Then everyone will agree with you. You can make the bracha after davening. Tenehi de brachos ein tzrichos kavana latzeis. Granted, brachos do not require kavana to be yotzei. Mikal makayim, nevertheless, heichad mechavim befeirosh shaloi latzeis shaper dami. even though for brachos you don't need specific kavana, but negative kavana works not to be yotzei ayin sham oid. Fine. V'ayim beber halach shekasam dem shachach birchas haTorah v'hischal birchas kriyas shema yichavein befeirosh beberchas avraba liftar birchas haTorah. If for whatever reason, Rabbi say, somebody forgot Birchas HaTorah, they should be mechavein explicitly to be yotzei Birchas HaTorah and learn right after davening. So the bracha mechaye yamesim, you should have kavana not to be yotzei alei kai neshama. The bracha of avarabba, you should have in mind to be yotzei Birchas HaTorah. Fine.
What's the chiluk between those two?
What's the chiluk? Perhaps the chiluk is that when it comes to Mechaya Mesim, Mechaya Mesim is a shevach that Hashem has the ability to be Mechaya Mesim. Alaikai Neshama is a specific shevach that Hashem return your soul in the morning. They're two distinct brachos. It happens to be that there's overlap, and that you could be yotzei one with the other, but they're two separate inyanim. Memela, if we say, okay, so have negative kavana and let there not be overlap. When it comes to avarabba is basically Birchas HaTorah. It is Birchas HaTorah. Elamai, you have to make Birchas HaTorah earlier because you're going to be learning earlier. So avarabba is a Birchas HaTorah. It's for Kriya Shema, and Birchas HaTorah is for learning in general. But it's not like they're different subject matters.
Also, you're about to say Shema. We want to make sure that you have Birchas HaTorah then. I mean, I know it's that we're dominating, but right before Shema, I should say Birchas HaTorah.
Yeah, but again, if you didn't miss Birchas HaTorah, then we don't say have in mind. In other words, Avarabba is Birchas HaTorah. Okay, weiter. Kol habrachos. Ein Mr. Mordechai v'Sefer Nahar Shalom. Dizman kol habrachos u'kol hayom b'diavad. This is very interesting. Let's say you have girls in your house, and the ukamin hagam hakadosh, they don't always wake up for vasikin, and let's say they want to know, can I say brachos, 3 p.m. What's the halacha? Could you say shachris? You're not allowed to say definitely after chatzos. After zman tefillah, that we'll discuss when we get to Hilchos Tefillah. But the Zman of Brachos is the whole day b'diavad. V'chein kasab b'sefer Masarav l'hagrazal. V'hoisiv sham oid yoysa. The Gra adds further. Da'afilu b'layla ad shas hashena hu chiyuvan im shachal amru kadam. Wow. The Gra has a chidush nifla. You could make the bracha asher nosan la'sech vivina l'havchem ben yom uvein loyla hamapil chevle shena aleina right before you go to sleep. Venerally, if sleep is grabbing hold of you, you can't say Amavar Shena. Dugmas Birchas Hamazain. That when you're hungry, you don't bench. You certainly should be careful not to say brachas beyond this man tefillah. You could say them till chatzos, kichein muchach meharbe achroinim, shaloi hifsid habrachas achar arba shois. So it sounds like the Mishna Berura is saying, lichatchila till the end of Zman Tefillah. B'diavad till chatzos. V'hameka lismach b'diavad al agdoilim hanal avarchasam achar chatzos ein limchos b'yadai. Let's say a guy is saying shlayasani guy right before he goes to sleep. We're not going to throw rotten tomatoes at him. It's not right. He just did his linen. It's still clean, and we don't want to soil his linen. But it sounds like this is not something to rely on. In other words, a person might say also, we saw, let's say according to Rav Shlomo Zalman, it's better to say the whole Psukei de Zimra, let's say according to Rav Chaim Kanievsky, it's better to say the whole Psukei de Zimra and skip the Birchas Hashachar. So you say, well, how long do I have? The answer is try to make sure you say the Birchas Hashachar before Zman Tefillah is over. And if not, before Chatzos. But don't rely on, the Psak of the Maimer Mordechai and the Nahar Shalom and the Goin that you have until the night. Okay? So that's session 1. If you could hang out with me for a couple more minutes, let's finish up the week, and then next week we'll have to figure out how to get in 4 days. Okay.
quick question on just on that topic.